Here we go. Hi, everybody, and welcome to our Big Brother 23 episode 20 recap show, where Comedy Jonah, John Richardson, is not here, but don't worry, I have a better treat for all of you. But first, let me remind all of you that wherever you guys are watching this back, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, I'm forgetting places, but you guys know the deal. Follow, like, and subscribe. It's the best way to help support our shows. Of course, share them as well. Share them now and let everybody know that we're live. Share them if you get to the end of this in the future. Maybe you think a mom, a grandma, or a Facebook group would love it. It's a great way to help support our shows. Of course, if you have any questions, you can tweet us them with hashtag YRRLive. Now, look, as you guys know, John is gone. He is away, blah, 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 real estate, something. I don't know. I asked all of you, who do you guys want to be the co-host? And you said, Christian.
I'm back. What's good, everybody? Thank you for having me. Thank you for voting me to come back.
Welcome. You won this vote, Christian.
There's something I won, yeah.
There's something you want.
Well, I'm happy to have.
We are happy to have you here, Christian. And I am so excited, honestly, to talk about this episode with you, because I feel like you are someone who can really weigh in on a lot of what has happened on this episode tonight. So I want to jump right into it. Right at the top, we have your lady, Alyssa, feeling bad about X being put up. She feels like it is her fault. Is it her fault, Christian?
It is directly her fault, yes, because of how the situation occurred. However, it could have happened to anyone, so I understand her feeling bad. But, it was literally a luck game. And, of course, she's not a lucky person that day. But, yeah, it sucks to see Xavier go up from my number one ally, my number two, people going after each other. But it was not intentional.
All right, Christian, I'm going to help you out here because I care about the future of you and Alyssa together as a couple. Now, when she asks you that in the future, Christian, you are going to say it is not your fault in any way at all.
Could have been.
Okay? The wind blew that ball into that hole. And actually, you could probably take the blame, Christian.
I'll take it.
Now, a lot of people are saying you helped get her that money to play in this. You are very powerful, Christian.
It is my fault. That's what I meant to say. I don't know what came out of my mouth. It's totally 100% all my fault. X is on the block because of me, and I'm taking the blame for sure.
I think it is great. I think it is great that I agree with you. I feel like there's nothing. We obviously know it's not Alyssa's fault. It's a roulette wheel. I'm thrilled that it was a real roulette wheel. I was worried it was going to be that video one from premiere night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm glad it's more of a real roulette wheel. And it was sad. It was definitely sad to see, Alyssa upset over this entire situation. Obviously, she feels responsible in a way about it. Do you think that Alyssa, how do you think she's going to feel about the cookout?
I think she'll probably feel the same way that I felt, which, is just the fact that it's so surprising because we've both never seen this group of people together in one room. However, I'm out of the house right now, so she may have seen them together or may have an idea that something is forming or has formed, but absolutely shocked is going to be her first reaction, and maybe slightly betrayed as I did because I wasn't asked to be a part of it. But it is a historic making season, and I understand, I guess, the reasoning behind it.
Yeah. Because, I think it's got to be hard. And, you are someone who has come out and said, just what you said, that, you understand why it happened. I just think in moments like this, where, we're seeing an Alyssa breaking down to an Xavier, I feel like these are going to be the moments that's going to be hard for anyone, regardless of if it was the cookout of anyone that is not a part of an alliance and is being, kind of manipulated by an alliance to get over postseason. I always say I never understand how you guys can function in, your group chats. Like, you're all gonna have your postseason Big Brother group chat, and then someone's gonna be like, I want to go to Cheesecake Factory, and then someone in the cookout's gonna be like, I don't like the cookout. I don't like the Cheesecake Factory. It's gonna be like this big war in, the postseason group chat of, your season, because no one knows who's lying.
I know we're going to have definitely some type of PTSD after this, just not being able to trust people. And we're going to have, hey, remember when you said this? This is the reason why I don't trust you. So we're going to bring up all those points probably.
100%. And I think it'll be fun. And I think that you guys are all going to be friends. I think your cast, more than any cast, are all going to be great friends when it is all over. We saw Claire figuring out that DX is the back door. Claire, very smart, to figure that out. Except I can't care, Christian. I don't know if you've seen anything that I've said this whole week. I'm like, justice for Christian. Boo-hoo, DX.
I know.
Boo-hoo.
It really seems like Tiffany and Claire were fighting extremely, much harder. I think we're going to see it more next episode as well, but it seems like they're going to fight much harder to keep DX around. Well, obviously Claire's in the block, so that's not going to happen. But Tiffany specifically is going to fight much harder to keep DX around than it seems like she did to keep me around. But then again, I haven't watched the episodes because I'm still waiting to rewatch them. With Alyssa, I know she did fight for me, but it took a lot of convincing on my end in order to put her in that mindset. DX, I don't think, did very much in order to already make her want to keep him around. So a little betrayed by Tiffany, because she said something today about him being an ultimate beast at comps and stuff like that. And I just feel like if anyone in this house were to be the ultimate beast in person to keep around to benefit them in a physical sense, it probably was me over DX.
I think, don't get me wrong, I am not qualified to speak for Tiffany, but I would say probably Tiffany's mindset was, during your week, there was too many of the big threats there. There was you, there was DX, there's Xavier. Now you're gone. Now Brittany, who may not be a big physical threat, but she is like this ultimate pawn in a way, now she is gone. Now the only people Tiffany really has left as a shield for her is Xavier and DX. And I think what Tiffany has probably realized in the past week, which is what all of the cookout women have realized, is the cookout guys are not bringing them.
Yes, it does seem like at least Derek F., any competition that involves money will for sure be his incentive to win. So he didn't really people are realizing that today based on the episode, that he is not pulling his own weight when it comes to the cookout. He's kind of there only for money, which it's a game for money. It makes sense. But when it comes to helping the cookout, he does not seem to be pulling his own weight.
Now, if you were to watch the live feeds, Christian, all Derek Fraser does is say that he is the mastermind pulling all of the weight and that none of the ladies are doing anything this season.
Interesting. So that puts him, he's going to have a rude awakening when he goes on the block again and doesn't have an argument to keep him around for sure.
Do you think he'll go on the block again? Because I almost feel like he's good now.
Yeah, you may be right, because he's almost like the ultimate person to be in a final two situation with. I have no idea what he's going to say in a finale night argument in order to persuade people to vote for him to win this whole game. I don't really know what he can say because there's no real points that he could bring up that people would believe, I guess. So, I I think he does need to start making moves in order to add to his resume. But like I say, with all these answers, he's playing a floating game in my eyes, and maybe I should have, taken some of his own advice and done that myself, because I'd still be there.
I mean, it's a very interesting predicament that the Cookout is going to find themselves in. If they stick to the 6 to the end, which I believe they will do, then the winner this season will be chosen by a non-Cookout member. Like the Claires, the DXs, the Britneys, they're going to be the majority of the jury. They will pick the winner. If one of them makes it through to the end, then the Cookout will have the majority of the jury and they'll crown the winner. So it'll be interesting how these dynamics play out. Will Alyssa feel betrayed by Xavier,
I don't think anyone is really going to be really hurt by any of these results. I think every single person in this game, especially me, realizes this is just a game, so no one's going to take anything personal outside the house. So it will be interesting to see who does take it more personal, but definitely while you're in jury, it's still going to seem personal. I think I recovered so quickly because I'm outside the house. So as a jury member, that wound is probably going to heal a lot slower.
I literally feel like Brittany did a TikTok from her hotel room about hating Kylie. I might have just dreamed it. But I really feel like there was a rap about like, I'm gonna come for you. There was like something where I was like, oh, okay, Brittany's bitter.
That sounds like her. Yeah, Brittany. I think a lot of the people, like I said, the wound is gonna heal a lot slower being in a jury house than it would outside. But there definitely are some emotional people in the house that that will be in jury at this point. So, people have to start doing some jury maintenance. And I think I planned my jury maintenance before even getting to jury, which was part of my issue. So people need to start thinking about building those relationships for the vote in the end.
Or the Cookout does, because I don't think that, like, the non-Cookout people in that house are being genuinely loyal. I guess I guess that is the right word. It's not that the Cookout is not being genuine. They're playing the game. They are in the alliance. They got the best of the non-Cookout members. That's Big Brother. It happens every season with every alliance. So, yeah, I think it's going to be hard. I don't know. As I get old, in the beginning, I used to watch this game and be like, it's no problem. And as I got older, I was like, I feel like I would never trust anyone again. Like, if you can just lie to my face, can sit so easily. And I get it, that's the game. I just don't know how I trust you in the real world.
Right. I think, at least I know I was able to separate gameplay from people's actual personality. But there's definitely something in the back of the head that would make you think, hey, they act like this in the show. What would make you think that they wouldn't? At least they have the potential to act a certain way, I guess.
That's what I mean. Like, I get it's a game, but when in the real world, like I said, if they're like, I want to eat at Cheesecake Factory, I'll be like, do you? Because you told me you wanted to vote for me right to my face, and no problem. And now I don't know if you're just taking Brittany's side. She wants to make a TikTok by the ranch station. So, like, I don't know. I don't know what's happening over there.
Absolutely. There would be an argument or two in a group chat outside the house. That's going to be guaranteed. There's probably going to end up one group chat with everyone, and then it's going to start splitting up into smaller ones. I think that's probably how this is going to end up working out.
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm sure that it will. Now, I feel like we are not reveling in this enough, Christian, because I think, I love DX. I think DX is a great person. I think he is kind. I think he is compassionate. I think he doesn't understand Big Brother. And I think he has made horrible move after horrible move this season. And I know that is not the popular opinion because people love him. To again, which I say, I love him also. But if you're being honest, getting Christian out of this game was horrible for DX. He has said it multiple times in the past 48
I,
hours
was,
that it
I
was
know.
the
I've been waiting for it to. I thought it would appear on the episode, but no, it's just in the live. So maybe next episode.
I think in tomorrow's episode he's going to say that. And I mean, every he literally was making the arguments to Sarah Beth. It was the exact argument you made. I think Sarah Beth said it right back to him, like, this
Hmm.
is what Christian said.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of gave him every single bullet point to use, and you know what? It's smart on his end in order to recognize that they were good arguments. However, it
Right.
didn't work for me. So it's smart of him to recognize they are good arguments, and it's smart of him to use them. It's just I use them on every single person. So the problem is you're reiterating everything that I'm saying, and people are going to recognize that, and it almost makes him look worse because it's like, well, this didn't help him. Why do you think it's going to help you? But I'm going to be honest, okay? Of
Yeah.
course, I want karma. It's going to get him eventually. But if he's able to pull this off and get
Oh,
the,
brilliant.
yeah, brilliant. And like, honestly, it would be absolutely insane. Good for him. And I would wish him the best. I already do wish him the best of luck. But I do, of course, want to see some karma. And it's something where I'm going to message him immediately after the house, be like, bro, I told you took out your shield. But yeah, we'll see how it plays out. But, he's using my arguments and it's smart, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we do comedic recaps here. I think people get I'm not being serious about D. I mean, I am being serious. I think he made horrible moves. But I also love him and think he's a great person. And yes, I will give him shit when this season is over, too. I'm going to have, like, his name up top, and it'll be, like, Derek X. And I'm going to be, like, made nonstop mistakes this season, right under it. Like, play again, question mark? No. I think you're right. And you know who's going to get it next? Sarah Beth.
Hmm.
Next week, when she finds herself on the block and is going to be making all these same arguments.
Right.
And then you're going to go.
And that's the whole thing. That's exactly why the cookout is so successful because
Yep.
they're allowing all the non-cookout members to attack each other and keep them silent where we don't even recognize we're doing it. So the cookout is an incredibly intelligent group of people that really are absolutely annihilating this game, and they're going to continue to do that.
See, I was on board with this up until your eviction, meaning I understood the cookout not being obvious to you all guys, to everyone in that house.
Right.
After your eviction,
Kind
once they saw what happened with Brittany, now they see what's happening now. It's like, how are you guys not seeing it? It can't be any clearer. And I mean, we even saw in the DR on Sunday night's episode, Derek X literally saying, are there any alliances I am unaware of in the house? As if he was asked that question. And I'm like, no, I'm not aware of any alliances.
right.
And I'm like, what? I don't understand.
I mean,
I don't understand.
I even feel dumb, of course, to this day, but just not knowing that the cookout existed. But I do kind of agree with what you're saying. I think everyone in the house at this point should start realizing it. But this is from an outside perspective, me looking in. A lot of stuff goes on in that house that would throw you off and really just scrambles your brain. So me looking in now, yes, someone should realize it. But if I were in that position, honestly, I most likely would still not recognize it.
Like, I wonder if they don't want to say it. Again, we have seen Xavier say that on the episode. Like, what are they all going to get together and say? All the people of color in the house are working against us. So
Right.
I wonder, do they know it and just don't want to talk about it? And then, if we're believing Frenchie, which I'm believing Frenchie in this, he claimed on this show that Derek Frazier told him everything about the cookout. Told him the people that were in it and that they would make jokes about it, and that's why they would always say they wanted the grill and they were going to, which Derek Frazier has not done since Frenchie left, which leads me to believe it might be true. Which
Yeah.
then makes me think, did he also tell Brittany? Because we watched Brittany going from hysterics over leaving to being totally fine. I almost wonder if Derek gave him a heads up. And now I know that we have paused on Christian. We'll wait and see if he unfreezes. All right, well, wait. We're holding on Christian. Well, we're holding on Christian. I will say to all of you, I know that you have your questions. Keep your questions coming in. I'm going to go through the episode. Oh, wait. Are you back? You back?
I'm back.
Okay, good. I was telling them to put in their questions. Okay, so moral of the story, Christian. DX, we want him to pull it out because we think it would be a great storyline. And also, I think it would be great for the ladies of the cookout if DX stuck around. I think him going is going to be horrific for a Tiffany's game, Hannah's game, and Oz's game personally.
Yes.
But, okay, let's talk about for a second that POV competition.
Yeah, so X, I mean, took the punishments. Honestly, if I were playing in that comp, I don't know if I would have taken the third nominee punishment, and that's only because it only buys you one more week of safety. I felt I needed it that particular week. When you're on the block, you feel like you need it. So I probably would have avoided that last third nominee and gone for the one on the log. I can't remember. Oh, it was like a veto, something with the veto. But I think I would have avoided that third nominee. But then again, I might not have won because X went for it and he won.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess the first question that I know everyone was asking was, what punishments would you take? So you would not have taken the third nominee one.
No, I definitely wouldn't. But that's also, it depends on the situation. At this point, am I on the block or am I just someone who got picked? And
Right.
I guess, or am I the HOH because that balance comp I could have potentially done well at. So I don't know. It completely depends on what position I'm in going into the veto comp.
Is there ever a scenario where you take the money?
No, no.
No.
Oh, wait, maybe there is. I don't know because if I'm HOH and assuming I don't know, I don't know. If I'm HOH, I may want to go for the money, but then again, if I were to take the deal with Derek X, then I wouldn't nominate him from the start. But then if I had the potential to backdoor him, I would need to win the veto or have someone else win the veto. So there's a million scenarios that I don't know based on, being outside the house in the position that I'm in. But I think it's a very rare, very, very, very rare case that I would go for the money.
Here's what I found most shocking about this. Obviously they can't get everything in the edit, but they put into the edit how it was a joke that Derek Frazier took all the money, and then there's everybody laughing like, of course Derek took it. They all know because Derek told them all, which now we know based on this edit, so he didn't have to. He just volunteered the information that he took all the money, which makes no sense to me.
Yeah, because people definitely get a little, salty about someone who does not pull their own, especially the cookout. I don't know why he would inform people, because if I were in the cookout, I wouldn't want Xavier, someone who was sitting on the block, to know that, I didn't fight for your safety. I actually just fought for the money. So, it's definitely not something I would have walked around just telling everybody. But I do believe that people could have just assumed it was him regardless.
Obviously I would assume the reason he would tell the cookout is because they all don't have secrets from each other. Like, obviously they would tell each other. Plus, I think he needed to let them know I now have enough money for
Oh,
next
true.
week's thing.
True.
So that's probably why
Exactly.
he had to tell them. But I don't understand how Derek X found out and Claire found out and all these other people. Like, it was public knowledge being talked about by everyone in the house. So obviously he told everyone, and he didn't have to. Which, again, I just, like, doesn't make any sense to me. Also, a funny moment that they left out of this episode that I don't want to forget, with DX talking to Sarah Beth. He was like, "So remember when I let you keep that $5,000?" It was so
Okay.
sad. It is
Yeah,
so
so
sad.
brought it up in order to get a little pity on her. I get that.
It,
Okay. I mean, it's
it
smart.
didn't
It's not.
work. No, it's not gonna work at all. Um, I thought Alyssa was the smartest player in this POV competition to think to herself, I need to do it backwards to make sure that it hits that button.
Yes, that's a very good strategy. And Derek X actually did that same strategy in
Yep.
Massive Cocktail. Was that week one? So, and I always saw that and thought it was a fantastic strategy. And I didn't think to do it myself, but if I were to play, I definitely would remember that because I thought to myself after he did it, that was such a good strategy that
Mm-hmm.
I would have done it backwards as well if I would have played.
Yeah, I think backwards is 100% the way to do that. We saw that Ozza was saying she wants to do it to save her crush, Xavier. Don't get me wrong. I love them. I want them to go off. I want them to have a fairy tale life. I think they are the most adorable couple together. I mean, we know that that X might not feel the same way, but I still love them. I am a huge Ozza fan. I think she brings comedic relief to the show and the
Does.
live
It's
feeds.
so funny. She really is. I think probably though the funniest person in the house is Tiffany. She is hysterical. I don't know how
Yes.
well they show it in the edits, but Tiffany is hysterical.
She's very angry in the edits. That's all we seem to be
Yeah,
seeing of
that's why
Tiffany now. But maybe we'll see more not angry Tiffany later. Did you see her Sarah Beth impression? Because it's my favorite.
I did. I saw it in a tweet or something like that. Yeah, the
Yeah,
last few days I was on vacation, so I wasn't watching the lives. But yeah, people have been tweeting me stuff like that or anything that involves me as well. So I have
that
seen
just
it.
cracks me
It's
up.
really good.
I love that they do that. And before people want to complain about it, they make fun of themselves. Tiffany makes fun of herself. It is not personal. It is not directed at one person. She makes fun of everybody because we're having a sense of humor about things.
It's
Okay,
all
so
fun things now. It really is.
right. And also just remember, this same competition is the one where Sarah Beth told America that we can wipe our ass with our BB bucks.
Yes, yeah. And I was thinking to myself immediately after she said that, I was like, that is exactly what you would say if you no longer want any PB bucks. So yeah, she pretty much blew it there.
I don't understand Sarah Beth's strategy, I gotta be honest.
You called it. It's going to end up happening. It's going to be me backdoor week one, or not week one, last week. Derek X backdoor, or 2 weeks ago. Derek X backdoor the next week, and then Sarah Beth's going to be the next one. Although I don't know if it's going to be a proper backdoor or not, but I believe she's got to be the next target. And I'm feeling good because I really, honestly feel, and this just could be because I want Alyssa to do so well, but I really feel that when it comes down to the sixth or the seven people. I think it could come down to Alyssa and Xavier. And I feel that Xavier's smart enough to realize that I mean, it's obvious, once the six are left, they're going to have to start coming after each other. And I
Right,
don't know who his people are, but he knows he has Alyssa. So I think
right.
he's going to gun for it that week. Keep Alyssa, break up the cookout, inform him about the cookout, and call his alliance, including Alyssa. And I think Alyssa's going to go significantly further than people thought she would.
I will say, I believe the plan as of now, the cookout is in agreement. I mean, granted, I haven't seen feeds in the last 6 hours, but I feel like the last time I've heard this conversation, which was late last night, they all seem to still be on board with that Alyssa should be the last one to go. So
Yeah.
she will be the one there at the end. And I agree. I have said all along, I know the Cookout is saying they're going to go at each other at 6. I think it'll be 7 going into 6.
Hoping.
And
Yeah.
that person, if it's not Alyssa as the HOH, whoever is that Cookout member can easily justify it by going, look, I had to make the move now. I can't play HOH next week. You just get to pick me off. We're at 7. We're basically at 6. I'm making the move a week early. Get over it.
Exactly.
So,
and Xavier is insanely smart. I'm sure he already had that thought process. If he hasn't said it on the lives, he's definitely thinking it to himself. With him being in confinement right now, he's going to have a lot of thoughts in his head, and I think that's going to be one of them. He's definitely going to take the opportunity to keep someone that he has complete trust in, and that's Alyssa. So Alyssa's going to be someone that he needs in order to break up the Cookout and keep himself around. So I really think she's going to go really far, and I think there's a good shot it could be Xavier and Alyssa in Final 2, because I think Xavier would want to sit next to Alyssa. I think he's of course, he's a lawyer. He's going to have arguments all over the place finale night as to why
he won't need it. He won't even need. I mean, if the Cookout is telling the truth, if the Cookout, and I mean, we've seen them stick to everything they've said so far. So if they do that, if he brings Alyssa, it is a guaranteed win. The majority is Cookout. They would vote for him to win.
Yeah, and so he definitely realizes that. He absolutely realizes that. So, I mean, that's not only a prediction that I have, but it's also something that I'm hoping happens.
Well, the only wrinkle in this plan is the fact that we know that the schedule has come out for the remainder of the season, and it appears there is nothing official or confirmed. We're all just speculating that at 7 will be a triple eviction because it is a special 2-hour episode based on, the TV Guide schedule and everything, which we know, if they're going to do it like last year, means 2 double evictions. That could be the wrench in the plan. But in all honesty, it also could be the thing that helps Alyssa or helps the last non-Cookout member.
Absolutely.
Because an Xavier doesn't have to worry about Tiffany being upset or Hannah being upset if he's sending them both out in the hour.
Mm-hmm.
Then he's just left with Alyssa and Kyland and Derek Frazier and Azah. She's fine.
Right. And if people realize it at 7 that that's a possibility, then if people realize that at 7, then it could still benefit Alyssa. I think this is more beneficial for Alyssa because other people could realize that as well and talk to Xavier about it earlier. And once the Cookout split up, once the shot's taken once at the Cookout, that's it. There's no recovering. So as long as one shot is taken at the Cookout, they can see Alyssa as a 7th person, be like, all right, we need her to get the numbers to knock out the rest of them. And I think it doesn't necessarily have to be Xavier to be the guy to do it. I think other people are going to realize it too.
I was a little shocked by Alyssa in tonight's episode when she was like, yes, I'm so excited she's going after DX. Now, storyline-wise, I get it. She has to, play the, I need to get, vengeance for Christians. But I'm like, oh no, him being in that game is real good for you. Because they're going to want you out before Claire possibly. So as long as Derek is still there, that's someone that has to go before you. So a little bit like, but I'm sure she was just doing it because,
Right. And honestly, it doesn't matter really what she says.
Yeah, it doesn't.
The fact of the matter is he's up and most likely it's not going to be a flip, and that's how it's going to play out. So it doesn't really matter what she says, but yeah, that scenario I for sure ran through her mind. She's an overthinker. She thinks about every single outcome, and so I think she did think about the benefits of him staying.
Another thing we saw during the POV competition was Sarah Beth saying she needs to do this to regain control of her HOH. She feels she has lost control of her HOH this week with the powers and the roulette wheel, to which I would say you lost it by letting Kylan make all the decisions. It's literally Kylan's HOH, and you literally let him repeat. It's exactly what Kylan did last week. Put up the dummies, flush the power out, see how the power is used, backdoor the person I actually want. It was just a repeat of Kylan's week.
Right, and honestly, he did a great job with that. I see why it's a good template to follow. It's just I wish she would have, or depending on the edit, of course, I wish that it would have shown that maybe it was more her idea than Kylan's idea. But yeah, it really looks like Kylan is
not.
Yeah, it's Kylan's third HOH. That's what it is.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people don't like Kylan for it, and a lot of people get frustrated with Kylan, myself included. But I have to then say, if I'm feeling this way and I'm being annoyed, it's because he's playing the better game.
Yep, and that's the fact. He's playing a very good game, and no one's.
And it's a very whispery game, but he is playing it. What about Xavier saying, all right, I have thrown every single competition that I have played in up until this point. Now I am in danger. It is time for me to start playing Big Brother. And he wins the POV. Do you believe that Xavier has been throwing every competition up until this point?
Yeah, I did actually hear people have been telling me that he's been throwing comps. So with the wall, I did see not necessarily that he threw it, but he did make some sort of agreement with DX before he hopped down. Immediately after, I asked him if he could have hung on longer, and he said he was going to drop in seconds anyways. So, of course, he would lie to me and say that if he needed to, but I don't believe he is throwing as many comps as he admits in the DR. It's possible because he did say he needed to stop throwing them today, and that's the first time he said it, and he won it. So it's very possible he's only proven that he's capable after he said that. So it's very, very possible. But before Room Key Rumble, when it was just him and me left, I said I want it. He says he wants it, and then we said we were both going to just fight it out. I did beat him, but now that I'm thinking about it, could he have potentially thrown it? Sure, I guess he could have, but I'm not sure that he did.
I don't remember him saying if he threw that one on the feeds. I just know in general lately, I feel like within the past week or so, he has said like, "Oh, I've been throwing everything," which I kind of believe. I also think it's an easy thing for people to say in the DR, like, "Oh, I lost it, so I threw it."
Yeah.
I don't think he wanted to throw that balance beam. I think
and I believe that when he says I have been throwing comps recently, I think that he's referring to comps since I've been out of the house.
Right, maybe that is what it is.
That necessarily refers to when I was in the house with him. Although it even makes more sense if he says it was while I was in the house as well, because there's a good chance that he could be like, well, I'm going to throw the comp, and the comp beast is going to just win it anyway. So he could just do that and make that argument. So I could see it on both sides. I just have a feeling that he was not intentionally throwing it while I was in the house. That's the vibes that I got.
I think there are ones that he threw. Like, I think that wall he did not want to win. I think like the wall one, I think he definitely threw. I feel like there was one other one I think he threw. That's about it as far as throwing. No one's going to convince me that when every single person came around that corner and saw Sarah Beth was going to be the HOH, that any of them went, oh, this is a great scenario. Yeah. I'm going to throw this one. I think they all were like, shit, we need to win this.
Yeah,
and didn't.
Really.
Okay, so we know, after this, we find out the results. Like we said, Big D took the money. Everybody knows. We find out that Xavier won it, and now he is BB bankrupt, which is fine. He is in solitary confinement right now. Or he's supposed to be in it right now.
Yeah, he started.
And he's a third nominee next week.
Mhm.
What I think is brilliant and what I will never understand is why, any cookout member should have taken all the punishments, because Xavier has played this brilliantly. He walks around and acts as if I took this punishment for you. I got you. Like Christian, it's kind of what he did to you. Christian, I'm going to do this for you. Don't you worry. I got you. I'll whatever. Because he knows he has the votes, he
Yeah.
knows it doesn't matter. So he's very good at using his position in the House to make the non-cookout members feel a certain way about him. Who cares if he's third nominee? Make me the third nominee into the sixth. I don't care. I have the votes.
The only thing is, like, false sense of security is
Sure.
it happens a lot in this
Yep.
house. And
Yep.
who's the next biggest physical threat? Probably after DX. Most
him,
likely
yeah.
Xavier. So if he's sitting up next week after DX, I think his opinion may change, and he probably still has the votes. But I would be a little concerned.
He has the votes. I think the danger in next week comes if, no, even if Alyssa wins, it doesn't matter. He's the third nominee regardless. We could see two cookout members on the block after the Coin of Destiny is played, after the POV is played. And if he is always going to be sitting there regardless, if there's two cookout members up there, I'm voting out Xavier if I am a cookout member. If I have no choice and I'm a cookout member, I'm getting rid of Xavier. He's the biggest physical threat out of everyone there.
Way too much what's going on this week and next week to put yourself in a position where no matter what you're playing or you're sitting on the block next week. So it's definitely going to be a lot to be concerned about. But he absolutely is in a great position. And, I wish I felt that throughout the game.
It's also very smart because it takes a vote away from the cook. I mean, not smart. I mean, smart on production done. It takes a vote away from the cookout. Him being on the block as the third person is now one less vote that they have. Although I don't think that would even matter, even with their one less vote. I don't think it matters.
That he was throwing competitions.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to throw one when he's on the block. So if
Yeah.
he's confident enough in the fact that he has been throwing the competitions and still sometimes won, especially in BB Tom Talks when he actually won a memorization one, he has a physical side and he has the memory side. He's mentally, he's covered all his bases. So I really think that if it is true that he's been throwing comps, then he should be sitting pretty next week, especially if the next biggest physical competitor goes out this week. So if that's his mindset, then, I'd probably feel pretty confident too, especially if I were in his condition.
Right. You know who was not feeling confident after this POV? Our poor girl Claire crying in the shower.
Yeah, she I think feels a little bit of what Alyssa felt, because she knew she was safe. Although Alyssa was not on the block with me, but she knew that she was safe, and she put someone in a bad position where Alyssa knew that I was most likely going home, just like Claire knows most likely her person's going home.
I was not prepared for Claire crying. I think that's the first time I saw Claire show emotion this season.
There were a lot of tears this episode. A lot.
There were a lot of tears.
Already. I was like, whoa, it's just really getting emotional today.
It was, but I have to say, if we're going to rank this with shower cries, I'm still giving it to Christy and Tommy. That was when you look at me, you can always see home. There was none of that. Tiffany tried it. Tiffany was like, I'm going to go to the shower. Tiffany's like, hey, Claire, hey, girl, what's wrong, girl?
Yeah,
Do you need to see home? Didn't happen.
No.
Didn't happen. No, didn't. But no, I felt bad for Claire. Her feeling like she let DX down. I think Claire is more aware of the dynamic of the house than she's letting on. I think she's probably been aware for a while. I think she sees the way things are going. Yes, I think she's crying about feeling like she let DX down. I also think she's crying because she realizes what I think is going on in this house is going on, and I'm right in line.
Right,
I
and then
think
she
she's
knows if
figured it
it's
out.
yeah, if it's not her this week, she knows she's
Right.
coming soon. Yeah.
Right. So what does it matter? Um, do we think so? Like you said, DX is now making his pleas to Sarah Beth. I want to stay. Him saying, "Could this be karma? Could it not be karma?" Do you think any of the pleas DX is making is going to help him stay this week?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a similar situation that I was in, where once you sit on the block, that's it. The decision was made. I was close to flipping the votes, at least from what I think. So potentially, if he learned from what I did and saw what I didn't do in order to make it actually happen, and is capable of making it happen, sure. If he learned from my situation, he has a good chance of staying in, because I think I was only off by one conversation that went south with Brittany.
Right.
Yeah. So if he's aware of everything I did correctly and everything I did incorrectly, he's the smartest guy in the house in order to make sure that this happens in his favor. But in the position he's in right now, people's minds, I'm pretty sure, are made up.
I mean, I feel like the pity vote tactic is the only real one that he has, where his plan is kind of, which I really think it started as Hannah's plan,
Yeah.
was to trick Kyland into giving a pity vote, but then that would require Hannah and Tiffany which would be going against the cookout.
Yeah.
So I don't see why they would do that. So I'm not believing that's actually a
I really can't see
strategy.
that happening either. I really can't see any situation where, even
No,
with,
they're not.
I can't see any situation where he stays. And Xavier's locked in confinement right now, where he's not involved in this. So if he comes out and things don't go as planned, he's going to be pretty pissed off.
I mean, I think the most simplest answer, because I see so many people, and I agree. I personally love Tiffany. I love Hannah. I love Azza, but I gotta say, like, she's just the comedic relief, so I'm not gonna feel bad about her. But I feel like Tiffany has done a lot behind the scenes. Hannah has done a lot. Currently, it sucks for me that they're not making it to the top 4 at all, in my opinion, if they don't make a move before 6. And what sucks for me is knowing that the deal that they made to get them to 6 is the exact deal of why they will not win this game if they don't make a move before the 6. That being said, yes. Will DX go? Of course he will. They're not going to. I feel like everyone's very aware of the storyline and the way this is being portrayed to America. I don't think any cookout member now goes into the DR after they've gotten the money to help them win these powers, after they know they've talked about it in diary sessions, and then go, "Hey, America, you know how we were doing this for all these reasons? I'm going against it," and
Yeah,
voting to get. They're never doing that.
it
You're
seems that
never.
every single house guest is aware of how liked by America DX is. Everyone's
Yes.
aware. And so they're probably very much aware of the fact that he has 200 BB bucks sitting in the bank account, where next week, if he doesn't go home, he's going to be able to make a massive move that potentially keeps him in this house a lot longer. So they need to take him out, of course, before he's able to spend that money.
Well, that's why they are taking him out. It's the same reason they took Brittany out. They wanted Brittany to stay longer. Brittany's biggest mistake was she told everyone how much money she had. The second Kylan knew that she had enough money for those powers, he was like, "You're out. I'm not letting you stick around to win a power." Which, that is my overall thing that I do not understand about this season. Everyone seems to be so willing to offer up all of their information to the HOH. There's not a lot of secrets. And also expects the HOH to be honest with them, like we saw in tonight's episode. DX went up there and was like, "So, Sarah Beth, be honest with me. Am I the
Yeah.
backdoor plan?" Which, if you're watching the episode and you're a casual viewer, you would go, "That's ridiculous." But guess what?
Yeah,
She
right.
told him. She did tell him. She was like, "Yeah, yeah, I mean, yeah. I can't tell you, but, yeah." So
Everyone
she
is
told him.
very honest this season. There's very few secrets, and the secrets that are kept are pretty big, though. It seems like they're
Yeah.
keeping crucial ones like the cookout, and every single person has a secret occupation that I had no idea about. So everyone does have some secrets, but when it comes to game talk, I don't think any conversation anyone has had has stayed within the people that were involved in the conversation.
No, not at all, because they always have a cookout counterpart that it then goes, through that. I will say one secret before we wrap this up that was kept very well from the live feeds was the whole entire Red Cross segment on this episode. I had no clue.
I had no idea. I would have loved to have been a part of that. I donate all the time.
Good. I do love to hear that. I mean, I had to laugh a little bit. I was like, the amount of time it took production to set this up, they could have made 10 times the amount of bags. Like, they just should have had a whole bunch of other bags. But I get it. You want to see the Big Brother cast putting those bags together, because then you're going to want to go out and put a bag together and be prepared for disaster. Speaking of, did you survive the hurricane, Christian?
I did survive the hurricane, but my basement got 8 inches of water in it. It flooded. Everything's ruined downstairs. But as far as, what could have potentially gone wrong during a storm, my basement flooding is not really the biggest thing. So we pumped all the water out. We're all good. Everything's pretty much dry now. So just a minor setback. But yeah, I survived. The biggest thing is I survived, and my family's fine, and my animals are fine. So that's the most important thing.
I feel like I should apologize to you for that. Originally it was because I'm right below, like I'm Long Island, right below you. It was supposed to be the direct hit on us. And I went live. Well, I went live and everyone laughed at me. And I was like, hey, everybody, hundreds of you watching right now, can everybody just go take a fan, aim it in the right... That was my idea. And then, lo and behold, that whole hurricane shifted away from the island and right at you guys. So I apologize.
Yeah, you must have some persuading points over Mother Nature, I guess. You got a good following to change the weather, but thanks a lot.
I thought it was smart, but no, I am glad. I think obviously we're kidding. Any of you that were affected by that, of course, we hope that you guys are safe and okay. It seems to have all been good. I don't really see anybody that was horrifically in trouble from that. All forecasts point to it is DX's parade that will be rained out tomorrow.
Sounds like it. And something that I warned him, but I don't want people to think like, oh, Christian's so spiteful. No, guys, if he's able to pull this off, that is
I agree.
Impressive. I hope he goes on to win the game if he's able to pull essentially another thing that I couldn't pull off. So I do fully support and hope and wish him the best of luck. But, based on the way it's going, if I know anything about backdoors, it's most likely not going to go the way that he wants it to go.
It is it's very mature answer of, and I feel the same way. Yes, we want you to go home. You took out a favorite. But if you pull it out, we are cheering for you because we love this game. And we get that it is a game. We get that it's a game, DX. Now, one or two last things. I see Destiny's in the chat is saying right now on the live feeds, they are studying for a memory HOH comp. Who do we think will have the best chances of winning? So it is a memory HOH comp tomorrow night.
That means Kylan's going to win for sure.
Well, how is Xavier getting the information? Maybe it's one of the audio ones. where like they play it over the speakers,
Maybe,
because then
maybe.
he'd be able
So
to hear
yeah,
it.
it wouldn't be fair, right? If that were the situation and he didn't hear it.
Yeah,
Uh,
he would have to be able to hear it,
yeah,
especially if they're studying
I think the
now.
speakers in the have not room, so that's where he's locked up.
You
It's
will.
either Kylan, Hannah, SB can't play, so my guesses are Kylan, Hannah, and maybe Xavier. But my guess would probably be Kylan.
Well, you will be very happy to know. One, TTBC in the chat says they showed him everything beforehand. And Tanya in chat is saying Alyssa is doing amazing right now in the studying. She has the answers down fast.
Alyssa, pull one out, please, please. I
This
really, of course, am praying for Alyssa to get it. I hope so. She's been honestly doing so much better now that I'm out the house, and I'm so glad that she's showing how good of a player she is. Because I came out of the house and a lot of people were saying and commenting on my post, "You carried Alyssa, or Alyssa isn't pulling her own weight." That's not the case. She's doing so much better now that I'm out of the house, and I wish the best of luck to her because I feel like I maybe messed up her game a little bit. So I'm happy that she's able to show how good she is at the game.
who do you think Molly wants to know? Who do you think Alyssa will put up?
Ooh. Assuming Derek X goes home this week,
Yeah, assuming Derek X goes home.
Kylan would go up. Kylan would be one of her nominees. And I don't, although I've been hearing she started a new alliance, so, and Kylan's in it.
I mean,
So,
here's. Go
oh,
ahead. No, you go ahead.
you know what? I'm thinking maybe Hannah.
Here, originally, as of the last few days, I thought that she would 100% put up Sarah Beth and Kyland. I
That's
agree.
what I was going to say, yeah.
However, now that she did make the new alliance with them, so now I think, or what Destiny says is she's gonna put up Claire and Tiffany if Kyland has anything to say about it. But then now I also see if Alyssa wins, she's putting up Azza and Tiffany on the block. Big D will take them off and put Kyland and Sarah Beth on the block if he wins the coin flip. I did hear this as well.
Yes.
So then, if Sarah Beth or Alyssa wins the veto, they will take Sarah Beth off the block and Hannah could become the back door. That would be interesting. I don't think
That is such an intricate plan that needs to go exactly as you said it.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
it's too much.
Yeah.
I agree with it up to the point.
Main targets.
I
think the three main targets would be Kylan, Sarah Beth, or Hannah. Those would be probably the people that one of them three would probably leave the house if Alyssa were HOH.
I agree. I think that's the best case scenario. Although Derek Frazier does want to win. Don't think that's going to happen. He wants to win so that he can then use the power and blame it on somebody else. The thing I think we keep all forgetting is you have to play the game. Well, he doesn't have to play. He automatically is winning it, apparently. But then you have to flip the coin to see if you can even do it.
Yep.
Which I think is ridiculous. That coin better land on the way that the person guesses, because I don't understand the point. But yeah, there's a lot of what ifs that would happen, but I think ultimately if Alyssa was HOH, her main targets would probably be Sarah Beth and Kyland, because Xavier is going to have a lot of influence there.
He will.
So
yeah,
I think
it's likely Sarah Beth will be going home because Cookout, Xavier's gonna persuade Alyssa not to take out Hannah or Kylan. So,
and Hannah, if she gets $100, Hannah can play. Up until last night, she hadn't told anyone she had enough money. I don't know why she decided to come clean last night. She kept it a secret for so long that she had enough money to play, if she were to get $100 this week, that there was a fantasy some of us had that she was going to flip the votes and have it be blamed on Derek Frazier. Because he was the one telling everyone he had enough money.
Yeah.
And we knew that she did also, but wasn't telling anyone. Some of us thought that's what she was going to do, but no, she was telling people she had enough money as of last night. So she's not.
Significantly more complicated since I left. And
No, it was just as complicated when you were there, believe me. And there was more of you to have to follow.
That's true. That's true.
I was like, Christian is talking to someone, but doesn't know about the cookout, so this conversation doesn't matter, but I'm going to talk to you guys about it now for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. There's a lot of that, Christian. But look, we all love you outside of the house. We know that you are rooting for Alyssa outside of this house. Where do you want people to follow you on social media so that they can keep up with all of what you are doing postseason?
Right. So we got me on Instagram and TikTok, which is Christian_Birkenberger, which is BIRKENBERGER. My Cameo is just Christian Birkenberger. My Snapchat is Christian Reese B, spelled Christian REESEB. Facebook, Christian Birkenberger. Twitter is C Birkenberger. And I believe that's everything.
And we're going to put all of the links below this video, and Christian's going to get a link tree.
Yay!
You have a link tree yet, Christian?
A link tree? Yes. No,
Oh.
I don't think I will.
It's just like one page. It's just like, Linktree Christian. And then when people go to it, it literally has all your social medias and they can just click on what, and then you just give them that one thing. Or like I said, check out below this video for all of Christian's social medias. Now, are you going to be, so you're not watching Tomorrow Night Live?
I am.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you'll be watching Tomorrow Night Live. Do you live tweet it? Or do you Instagram it?
I don't think I do anything while the show's on. Immediately after, though, I'll usually go live on Instagram Live.
And talk about it. Okay, perfect. Love that. Okay, so make sure you guys, if you want to see Christian's reactions live to the HOH, you check him out. And John Richardson will be back here with me tomorrow. Christian, it was wonderful having you sit in for him. Thank you.
It's a hard chair to fill.
It's a great chair to fill, and it's going to be sad that he's filling it again tomorrow. No, we love you, John Richardson. We'll see you guys all tomorrow. Don't forget, follow Christian on all his socials. Follow us. You guys liking, sharing, subscribing, all of our content really helps us out. So share your favorite people. We'll see you guys on the next show. Bye for now, everybody. Bye, friends.
Bye.
Bye, guys.